Woo, beloved, beloved, beloved. To be human right now means to be together. And man, do we need one another right now, yes? I am filming this right now towards the end of October. It is before the election, and the felt experience of anxiety and grief and uncertainty is off the charts. And there is one thing that I can think of right now that you and I can dive into and rely on and find comfort in and find a little bit of solid ground. And it's each other. I am Reverend Amani Malaika, and let's talk about conscious community. Together we are better. Together we can find a way. Together we can make it through the day. Together. Yes, beloveds. That song is an Alexia Challenge song that I had this amazing experience singing in a queer and trans song circle a handful of days after the election. And that's what I want to talk about today. Singing, joy, community, and why harmonizing is a spiritual weapon. Let's get into it. Conscious community. So yeah, I was singing in this queer trans song circle, and it was a handful of days after the election. And right, it was heavy. We were talking about stress baking and, how our hearts were and how intense this moment feels, right? In this country, here in the US, after the election. And we were singing this Alexia Challenge song together. And my friend, my trans friend, we were finishing singing the song, suddenly lit up and said, "It's working!" Oh my gosh, it was this moment of delight. And it's working was this experience of coming together, using our voices, sharing song and unity because we were singing in unison and in harmony, choosing to sing notes that just came together in the sweetest of ways. Very much like the way we came together in that circle with such sweetness. And it was working. It was working, and it was working for a whole bunch of reasons, which is what I want to talk about today. Because, I've been thinking a lot about and hearing myself say a lot this last couple of weeks that in all that is happening, in all that is rising in possibility right now, and the fear that is rising, particularly in the queer and trans community, in my own family, in my beloved trans family, I keep coming back to this truth for myself that I am not willing to put my body on the line. I'm not willing to die or martyr myself for some movement or political reason. What I am willing to do is give my joy. What I am willing to do is lift up my love on the altar of good, on the altar of possibility for the future that I already know is unfolding for greater good. I already know that this crumbling, this falling apart, this dismay, this disintegration is moving for good. And so this is the thing that keeps becoming central for me in my own process right now. And I wanted to share that with you. Because as I center my own joy as I center my kiddos' joy and my mother's joy and my brother's joy and my community's joy and my queer and trans beloved family joy, as I center the thriving and joy and wonder and aliveness for life itself, for all of us, for you, for every alive being on this planet, every sentient piece of this planet. That is the why of any movement. That is the why of any change you and I want to see happen. Is for joy, is for thriving, is for the expression and celebration of aliveness itself, which is a spiritual gift. Spirit has gifted you and I aliveness, breath in our bodies, these beautiful fleshy bodies that we get to inhabit, has been gifted to you and I as an expression of divinity. And so what am I willing to give in the name of good, in the name of love, in the name of the divine, in the name of life itself? In these set of circumstances, I am willing to give everything I've got. And the thing that is the most valuable that I have to give to the movement, to the progress, to the change, is my shine, is my joy, is my high vibration, is the upliftment that my centered, fully alive, fully anchored in the truth of who I am self can give. I'm not willing to martyr myself, but I am willing to live so fully alive as my wholeness, as my holiness, that this is the most powerful thing I have to offer. Change. This is the thing I steady myself in so that I can be of real service. And one of the ways that I have found very recently that has become an anchor for me, has become a tool and a practice for me to be able to do that, is conscious community. In a way that I haven't done it before. Very intentionally coming together with humans who are interested in the upliftment of humanity, with these queer and trans folks in Song Circle, where the literal singing of songs that we do together actually changed the vibration that I was resonating at. Literally lifted up my experience into delight and joy and laughter and not just resilience, but faith in the unfolding that is happening, not in what I hope will happen, but what is happening. This beautiful coming together, this beautiful dreaming that has really, really begun in a more emboldened way than I've seen in my lifetime of what is actually possible. The way that you and I can be expressions of the Holy Blessed One in this life together in community. So I wanted to share with you what happens in community when you and I decide to do it really intentionally, where you and I decide that the vibration that I am resonating at is critical for my own well-being and for the well-being and liberation of all beings. And that these outer circumstances would love to have me so afraid and rageful that my vibration can't actually lift up above and transform and transmute into the good that is absolutely making its way forward. So the first commitment you and I have to make in this time is to be the place that love shows up, is to be the place that is willing to actually be contributing to the upliftment, the vibrational frequency that will absolutely lift and transform and transmute what is no longer serving humanity, what is no longer serving the planet, creation itself. That's decision number one. How do I want to participate in the upliftment, in the vibrational frequency that is being called forth? The frequency of love, the frequency that is so powerful that it allows me to stay centered and grounded and committed to the vision of possibility that I have for you and I and all of us on this planet. And to not be disturbed or shook or distracted by circumstances that say and look otherwise. It's a huge ask. But it is the yes I've committed myself to, and I invite you to commit yourself to being a participant, an intentional, conscious participant, community member for the upliftment of life itself, for the frequency of love that has every possible potential, true way, greatest power for change. And it is already happening. And I deeply believe it is inevitable. But you and I have a choice to make to participate in it. For your own good, for your own aliveness and thriving and joy and wonder and beauty and harmony and communion with love itself, with good itself, and for the collective. This is how you and I liberate ourselves from the bullshit. This is how you and I stay so anchored and eyes on the prize so that as it falls, we are not caught in the rubble. And the beauty of intentional spiritual community is this incredible opportunity to do that for each other and with each other. And I wanted to share the concept that I really was thinking about, co-regulation. I was thinking about, it's sort of a buzzword right now. And that, we can co-regulate our nervous systems together. But that is true on a much greater level, energetically, vibrationally, right? There are entrainment potentials when we come together. An entrainment is simply a scientific term for a few different things it could be. Where our neural entrainment is where literal brainwave entrainment, when there's an outside source that is at a brainwave, at a frequency that is powerful enough for our brainwaves to sync to it. There's brainwave entrainment, music, binaural beats. There's all kinds of things. Sound baths work this way. But we also can do that for each other, right? Our brainwave frequencies. You've been in the presence of someone who just being around them kind of relaxes you, makes you smile, changes your mood. I call them vibe setters. These are people with the capacity, with such solid vibrational force, so centered, so grounded, so clear in their frequencies, that they change the vibration of the space around them. Vibe setters, vibe makers. But it's science. It's a real thing. There's also this biology idea called carrying. And I want to share the definition of that. Entrainment is the process of making something part of a liquid or flow and carrying it along. Example, wind entrainment can improve the aeration of lake water. So the possibility of an element carrying along something else for greater good. This is also entrainment. There's another form of entrainment that I wanted to share. Biomusicology, right? This is why music and song and dance is so powerful, and why it has always been powerful across faith traditions as a spiritual practice. Let me share with you what biomusicology is. Entrainment in the synchronization of organisms to an external rhythm, such as music or dance. Humans are the only species for which all individuals experience entrainment. All individuals. So what this means to me, twofold. We are always syncing up and synchronizing with external circumstances, with the vibrational frequencies that we find ourselves steeped in around. And if you and I are not intentional and conscious, we will be unconsciously synchronizing and entraining to vibrational frequencies and cycles and rhythms, and be carried in ways that we don't want to be, and that are not for the greater good, and that are out of alignment with our holy and true nature. And I know you could agree with me that there is much noisy, crappy, vibrational bullshit in the set of circumstances and the very air we breathe inside of oppressive systems and structures that we, without consciousness, have synced up with. A misunderstanding about who and what we are and what we actually belong to, and our inherent belonging to one another. Without consciousness, without awareness, without choice, we just get carried along. We just get swept along in the dominant vibration. The work of spiritual living, the work of spiritual community, is making a choice to vibrate counterculturally to a higher vibration, to a more loving, more true, grounded in the truth of who you are vibration. This is the work of spiritual living. And what becomes possible in community, in spiritual community, is you and I commit to this vibration of love. You and I commit to resonating at the pace of joy, at the frequency of kindness and compassion and connection. And because we come together with that intention, and because we practice vibrating at the frequency of love and joy and peace and togetherness and compassion and kindness, we know how to recognize that vibration, and we sync up in those frequencies when we come together. This, my friend, is the spiritual weapon of spiritual community. This is how we become the spiritual warriors this time is calling for. And I know my yes is not singular. You and I are together in this deep and abiding commitment and practice. Singing together, circling up and dancing together, coming together with the intention of upliftment, showing up with purpose to meet each other in this vibration, to meet each other in a conscious decision to carry one another towards the greater good. And one of the ways we begin to do that is to begin to cultivate capacity to feel our way into, to recognize this vibration, to recognize what it feels like to be vibrating at the frequency of love, to be resonant with your holy and true nature, and to find the practices and the people and the community and the spaces and the engagements that you need to be grounded in that holy and true nature that allows you to carry others, and when needed, to be carried. This is actually what happened in my song circle the other day. My friend could feel the shift in their own body as we sang, as the vibration of our voices came together in harmony. The definition of harmony is to join together, to join in concordance in a pleasing way. To join together in a pleasing, pleasurable way that works as a wholeness, which is why harmony is a divine characteristic that you and I are naturally able to participate in. When we consciously choose to tune ourselves to it, to attune to harmonizing, to attune to community and upliftment, to attune ourselves to the vibration and frequency of love. This is the call of our time. I invite you to answer the call. I invite you to begin to cultivate your practice of feeling what it feels like to be resonant with love, to vibrate at a frequency of joy. Let's remember Gabor Mate, incredible trauma therapist and theorist, who told us safety is not the absence of threat, it's the presence of connection. I love you so much. May we continue to deepen and create more meaningful connection in solidarity, in love.